Hello, and welcome to Team Abra's medium fidelity prototype for mobile productivity application based on the Eisenhower Priority Matrix. The goal of this application is to help users organize tasks by urgency and importance while reducing clutter and making task management easier on a mobile device. Throughout development, I conducted user evaluations, and many of the design decisions shown here were made directly in response to participant feedback. At the top, you can see the priority matrix title, search filtering, the hide completed, and the add task button. Originally, this was supposed to be a plus icon for the add task button, but several participants weren't sure if it created a new task or a new category. I changed it to add task button as an actual label to make the action immediately obvious and improve discoverability. This follows the usability principle of recognition rather than recall because users no longer have to guess what the button does. Users can search for tasks utilizing this search button to filter between the active and completed tasks, from the new car registration to submit the assignment. These tools help users quickly find what they need instead of manually searching bit by bit through every single section. One of the biggest pieces of feedback was getting rid of the 4 quadrants, as it wasn't able to work well on a phone. It was sectioned side by side in 4 separate quadrants, and the phone users consistently struggled as there wasn't much space for each section. Each section can also be collapsed to reduce visibility clutter. This reduces cognitive load and supports progressive disclosure by showing only the information users need. Participants also said they weren't always sure where tasks belonged. Instead of displaying the quadrant names, I added short descriptions. Urgent, important has deadlines, crisis, and pressing problems. Urgent, not important, not urgent, goals, planning, learning, and relationships. Urgent, not important, interruptions, sometimes emails, sometimes meetings, things along those lines. Each section also has information buttons that explain exactly what happens. This helps the users themselves, helping new users understand the Eisenhower matrix without leaving the application. Then we can go to the task cards themselves, like this one here, study for midterm. Each task contains a checkbox, due date, priority, of progress, and can be expanded to reveal additional information. For example, just as I did here, expanded to reveal additional information. Expanding a task shows these subtasks as seen here. Completion progress bar, as seen with that, and additional actions such as moving or deleting the task, as seen with these. Now, this keeps the interface simple by default while allowing users to access more detailed information only when needed. Users also requested better visibility into the large tasks themselves, which brought about the creation of the subtasks. The subtasks have individual checkboxes. Upon checking them all, you can realize that the entirety of it becomes finished. This reduces manual work while giving users a better picture of their progress. Moving on to moving tasks. Participants also found it difficult to understand how to move a task between categories. Instead of using only an arrow icon, I replaced it with a Move To button that clearly explains where the task will go. This makes reorganization of tasks more intuitive. Now, users can add tasks from anywhere in the application, from the bottom of each section of the quadrants to the Add Task button itself. The dialog allows users to choose whether a task is a one-time action or a repeating daily task. Assign due dates, tomorrow, today, this week, etc., and choose appropriate priority category. During brainstorming, I also included a microphone button, as seen right here. It does work, however, it can also be a little fidgety. Now, the daily versus one-time task. Brainstorming from the individual participants also suggested supporting recurring daily tasks. This was one that was added late in the creation of the matrix. So it isn't as detailed as the original, but it works exactly as designed. Each category contains its own progress indicator, as seen up here. When you click, it fills the progress indicator. So if you fill them all, 2 out of 2 completely filled. Participants wanted better feedback on how much they had completed. So these progress indicators provide an immediate overview without opening each task individually. If too many tasks accumulated within a category, the application displays an overload warning suggesting that users reschedule or delegate work. For example, it isn't shown here, but it can be overloading as seen here with various indicators. These can become rather overloading. We don't have enough to show that right here. Now, this idea came directly from brainstorming where participants said they often stopped checking task managers once the list became too large. So once it got too filled. Now, completed tasks are hidden by default, although users can display them again. By doing this, it is usually default handled like that. You have to click this manually every time you open Priority Matrix to be able to see them. It reduces the workload, what is seen on the display itself, and it keeps the interface focused on remaining work and reduces unnecessary clutter. One usability issue discovered during testing was that expanded tasks could hide important actions because the entire section wasn't scrollable. You couldn't go through it, you couldn't go through each and individual section within there. I modified each section so the tasks scroll independently and that the entirety of this scrolls in and of itself. Now again, there's not enough tasks to be able to scroll. So it does in fact work on the separate column levels. Now during refinement, I also removed not urgent, not important category, as you can see in empty space down here. Participants indicated they rarely planned work in this section and removed it simply to make the indication and everything to do with it simpler. Then we go to the today section. This shows all that needs to be done within today. The stats shows the overall completion rate, the by quadrant due first schedule and delegation, and the daily task, multi-day, single day, and subtask total. Overall, the prototype evolved significantly based on participant feedback. Major changes included replacing ambiguous icons with labeled actions, reducing clutter through collapsible sections, and a stacked layout, improving task organization with clear labels and move actions, adding subtasks and progressing our tracking ability, and making the interface easier to navigate on a mobile device. These changes were intuitive to improve usability, reduce cognitive load, and make managing tasks faster